This is Jewish Holocaust Center Oral History Project. Philip Meisel is interviewing Mrs. Esther Werblud on the 11th of July, year 2001. Thanks very much, Esther, if I might call you that, for coming here and giving us this opportunity to interview you. Could you tell us what year were you born?
I was born, only the year you want to know?
Year
Or the date?
and the date?
I was born the 18th of May, 1923.
Where?
Bialystok, Poland.
Poland. What are your earliest memories of your childhood?
When I born the 20s, that was after the First World War, no?
Yes.
And life after the First World War looked everywhere different.
Yes.
Not so convenient, not so comfortable. We don't have so big houses. When we grow up, we play mostly on the streets or on the yards.
Yes.
And I don't know if plenty children don't went to kindergarten. And when we were 7 years, we start to go to school. And maybe when some boys grow up, the parents take like a rabbi or send them to Cheder.
Could you tell us the name of your parents?
My mother's name was, you want to know my mother's maiden name?
Maiden name as well.
My mother's name was Shane. Shane, that's me, Schendel.
Beautiful.
And her maiden name was Friedfeld.
Friedfeld. And your father's
My father's name was Moshe. And Trivax. Trivax, you say in English.
Yes. And do you still remember the names of the grandparents?
I remember the name of my grandparents, but I don't, from my childhood, I not have any grandparents. Maybe because of the conditions of the sickness, they all died before, maybe when I was a baby or before I was born. I don't have any grandparents. People don't live so long.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe, after the First War was so many sickness, maybe they died. I don't remember any grandparents.
And do you know their names or?
Yes, from my mother's side, my grandmother was Esther, that's my name.
Yes.
And the father was Shmuel.
Shmuel. Yes.
And from my father's side, the grandfather was Gedalie.
Yeah.
And the grandmother was Friday, but I don't remember. Maybe from a picture.
Oh, thanks very much.
I didn't grow up with grandparents.
I understand. And were there any relatives living in this Bialystok? Uncles, aunties?
Yes, my mother had a brother and the rest of her family. She had a few sisters. They went to America maybe in the beginning of the century. My mother had a few sisters in America.
Did you have brothers or sisters?
I want to tell you, my father's family, my father had two sisters and two brothers. And they go over the world. One sister and one uncle would come here. They were in Bialystok. And one went to Lithuania, one brother maybe got good brain. He went like to yeshiva in Lithuania, And one brother emigrated to Australia in 1935. Because all the family from my uncle's wife come here. after the First World, before the First World.
What was your father doing for a living?
My parents were in business.
What kind of business?
Bialystok was a textile city. A lot of fabric, what went all over the world, if you know.
Yes.
And mostly the Jewish people were involved in the schmatters business. Some are factories, some that's come from my grandfather's side, not from my mother's, but they was in the schmatter business, that's to make a living.
And what, sorry, did you work for somebody or had he?
No, they worked for themselves.
For themselves.
I remember when I was a child, maybe, when you have a yard with schmatters, people coming, all the horse, there was no cars in this time. Fuhrmann, as I say in English. Fuhrmann.
Fuhrmann, horse-driven carriages.
Horse-driven carriage, otherwise was so busy, so much noise and people working. I told, when I was a little girl, I told my mother, why you have a business with schmatters, don't like maybe too much noise. Then she told my mother, from schmatters you can make a kugel.
Right.
She tell like this.
Yes. Did your grandparents living in Bialystok?
Yes, they live in Bialystok. I tell you,
You don't remember?
Maybe in the First World War, the sickness with the cholera was the sickness of many people. I don't ask. You don't ask so many questions now.
I understand. And what was your family? Is that siblings, brothers or sisters?
I got an older sister, older.
How much older?
Maybe 5 years. I got a sister, and the middle was a brother, and I was the youngest.
What was the name of your sister?
My sister's name was Haiche.
Yes.
And my brother's name was, got the name Shmuel Ephraim.
Shmuel Ephraim.
Shmuel Ephraim, but we call him Vroiki.
Yes. What happened to them?
My sister emigrated to Australia because I have this, my uncle.
In what year?
Before the war.
Before the war.
Yeah, maybe 37 or 38, I don't remember. And my brother was before the Ghetto. My brother was from the Shabbosdik, from the...
Very religious. Oh no, Shabbosdik, he was shot.
No,
during the Shabbat.
You want to know what happened in Shabbos?
No, later on, I see. We'll talk about it.
They showed the Shabbos.
Yeah, when the war, before the war.
That was maybe the first, the second week, before the Ghetto.
Yeah, we'll come later.
They take all the young men.
Thanks.
He belongs to the Shabbosdik.
Yeah, I understand. You will tell us.
They didn't went to the Ghetto. Before the Ghetto, they took all the young men.
Yeah. Let's go back to your childhood. You were going to school, you were attending school. What kind of school was it? A Jewish school?
When I started first school, this was in the end of the 20s. When I started school, I went to a private school. A private
First
school.
You went to Szkołę Powszechną.
No. First I went a few years to a private school. A Jewish private school.
Yes.
And I remember after it was the Depression in the 30s,
Yes, sir.
You remember this?
Yeah, very well.
And because my parents were business people, and it was a very bad time, I remember because, it was maybe a lot of bills with the Wechselach, what you call, they couldn't pay. That I remember the headmaster from the Jewish school always come, maybe at home and ask for the money to pay him. I was proud of this. I think he came for a visit.
Right.
Yes, I didn't understand. He was standing, he was an intelligent person, standing and waiting for the few zlotys. And my mother they couldn't pay. You see, it was the depression. I remember it was a time no electricity. Mm-hmm. Then they put me to the Deportations. That's why I went to
then
the
from the private school you went to the Ghetto.
Because
you didn't have to pay.
The crisis,
of the economical crisis.
Crisis made a lot of children.
Was your father religious?
He was traditional. Yeah. He went to the synagogue, but he didn't wear a beard. No, he was traditional. He was more like what you call this? The Jews, what they believe in the religion and they believe in the modern world.
I see.
What we call they have a special name. A masculine.
Masculine. Oh, I see.
Even my grandfather
yes.
was a masculine.
Yes.
You see, they were Orthodox, and they want to go on with the modern world.
Yeah, yeah, I understand very well. Yeah. So, you went to shul on your main holidays, or did you go to synagogue on the main holidays, or?
My mother went
yes.
In the older days. Then when I was a little girl, I go too. But I can't tell, we were a traditional, we keep our kosher, everything.
Yeah. Could you tell us something about Bialystok itself at this stage? Was there a lot of synagogue? Was people religious?
I want to tell something about my father. Can I tell?
Yes, certainly.
Every morning, he didn't eat his breakfast because he was praying.
So
when you in the morning you have to pray.
You put on film?
No, I don't remember put film, but he maybe put on. He was praying. Then maybe I asked him why he prayed. He told me when in the time before the First World War, where the Russian occupied Bialystok was occupied by Russia, that my father had to go to the Russian army when he was a young man. Maybe they do something, they pay something, give nice presents, and he was exempt from the army.
Yes.
You can make that he told, when he will be exempt from the army, he will pray every day.
Oh, I see. Yes,
because when the Russian took you to the army, maybe they took you for 20 years. It was
right.
That was by the Tsar, but
yes.
A lot of people ran. That's why he didn't eat before he prayed, because he gave a promise. Mm-hmm. Keep his promise.
Very important. That's very important.
That's why he prayed.
Yeah. Were you kosher?
Yes. You don't know that.
And now, can you tell us about Bialystok? What was the life?
Bialystok before the war was 60,000 Jews.
Yes.
And mostly you were sometime in Bialystok?
No.
And we lived like in a Jewish city, all yes. Jews together. We speak only, all the parents speak only Yiddish. And around was a lot of synagogues, every corner. And it was the shops, the shopping center. Yes. Mostly everything in the city was Jewish. Not the Jewish people live in the back of the town. And like the life in Poland was so hard that you can say that Bialystok was a bit of a higher position with Parnosy, to make a living.
It was easier to make a living.
Yeah, because it was the fabric. The people have a job to do. And it was a lot of schools, a lot of organizations. You can go of the world, in Bialystok give a lot of clever people, like Dr. Zamenhof, Dr. Zamenhof, the Esperanto, yeah. He was from Bialystok, and was a very big eye specialist. the Polish government took him to Warsaw before the war. All from Russia people come to him. His name was Dr. Pines. You heard about him? He was a eye specialist. He can do miracle for eyes. Because somebody told me that she went to a doctor, maybe his way, like he was healing the people, they still learn this. It was
his methods, yeah.
It was a lot of writers, a lot of, it was yeshivas, it was high schools, I don't know, it was a university.
No, there was no
But it was a lot of schools, all.
Jewish schools.
Oh, the Bunden, the Zionists, the Turkmenis, what you have to ask what not was.
Okay, okay. And what was your contact with non-Jews, with Poles?
The contact was like, home. A woman come, not a Jewish woman, come to wash. They have no machine.
Yeah.
Wash the wash.
Do the washing.
A few days in the year. Saturday, a woman come to make the fire in winter.
To light the light as well.
In the oven.
Yes.
And what was more, they come to wash the floors. Some people could afford, they have servants' girls.
Yes.
But I remember that for the people on the country, the Polish people, was not easy because they bring milk, in a big container.
In the morning.
They come barefoot, they bring the milk.
Yeah.
So we don't go. Yes, the police.
Was
We have the problem with the police, and we have the problem with the taxation, what we call Grabski. You know Grabski?
yeah. Premier of Poland.
No, Grabski was, I don't know, he was like the Minister for Finance, with the tax. If you don't pay the tax, they come, they take away your furniture.
Yes.
You know this story?
Very
You don't
good.
remember?
No. I remember the name Grabski.
No,
Could you tell us more about it?
I don't know. I think Grabski was the Minister for Finance.
Finance.
And it was then along Poland that the little businessmen pay a lot of tax, and the people from the country people, the farmers pay tax. I think the working people, but the worker even all year, they don't pay so much tax. And when you can afford, you have to pay so much different taxes, then you don't pay. That come a special, you know what's called?
Yeah, for it would be a wagon.
A wagon with your horse, take away your furniture. I remember once they took away the tablecloth from the table. Maybe it was a nice tablecloth that my mother asked a neighbor. They make like auction to buy this.
Yeah.
Until the war broke out, I remember that was a wardrobe. That always was a wardrobe. One door was missing.
Mm-hmm. So they won't take it away.
That was a hard life. That's why everybody was living in Poland before the war. They know, Grabski's full.
I see.
You don't remember it?
Actually, not so well, but good. This
Maybe
is
your
important.
parents not have the problem. They were not involved in the business. I don't know.
No. What other thing? Jews and Poles suffered in the same way. Did Grabski's tax
Grabski was
collectors, came to Polish houses too? It wasn't.
That's I don't know. Mostly the business people were Jewish people.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel any anti-Semitism?
There was a very big anti-Semitism in Poland.
Where? How did you feel it?
Even in school.
Yeah. For instance, could you give us?
And
Could you describe incidents?
I remember I not have much problem in school, because I was a quiet girl and I was a good student. And when I went to Polish school, my mother was, she don't know that this school is special anti-Semitic. Some were not anti-Semitic. And the Polish constitution give the Jewish people not to force to write on Saturday. You know, you got Saturday in school in the Polish school.
You didn't
Saturday
have to go to school.
And this school was the teachers more anti-Semitic, and they forced to write on Saturday. And my mother was...
Yeah, thank you. Your mother?
My mother was more so ahead of her generation. When I can't change now. When I asked my mother, we are 16 Jewish girls in the same class.
Yeah.
Everybody writes, what is your opinion? Didn't ask. My mother was so busy, don't ask me questions, and didn't ask. Then one girl, a Jewish girl from the 60s, told me, you know, we will not write on Saturday.
A Jewish girl?
A Jewish girl gave me the idea. All right,
Yeah.
2 girls. Then the teacher always make the exams on Saturday, not another day.
Yeah.
And I was already, because I was a student with a 5, the best.
Yeah, one of the top students.
Top student. And when it came to the assignments to write, I was always under the door. She told me to get out from class.
Because you were not writing.
Because not writing.
Yeah.
And she started to talk to me.
Yes.
You not write because you... I was a teenager, I was already... You don't write because you're Orthodox. You don't write because you want to show you're Jewish. And when you go on the street, you find some money you will pick up. That's why she speaks to me. And after she tells, when you grow up, you will put on a fur coat. You will meet me on the street, and you don't want to recognize me. She talked like that to me, that child. But in the end, maybe she has some conscience. I didn't do the exams, but she gave me all 5s.
Good marks.
Yeah. And it was another accident in school. The girl, they don't punish me so much, the teachers, because I have a 5 from the Jewish religion.
Yes.
But another girl was not a good student. She not have the 5 from religion, and she was more. They have more.
Penalized harder.
They treat her not so good. Then that same girl, maybe she was a fighter, and I don't remember what happened. And maybe she had a fight with a no-Jewish girl, with a Polish girl. Then the teacher told her, I don't know, when in a case like this you have a fight, then you have to take both girls and ask what happened. What happened? Why? And I remember the teacher told her, you will not beat Polish children in a Polish school. The teacher told to the other girl.
To a Jewish girl.
To the Jewish girl. She didn't ask what happened.
Just right away she knew it.
I heard.
Yes.
You not beat Polish children in a Polish school, and the girl was expelled from school.
And she was expelled from school.
She had to change schools. You know, that was...
Yeah. And your father, did he...
No, I want to tell you, before the war, before 39, I belonged to Shomer HaTzayir, you know.
Yes.
That was the only enjoyment, what you can do. You have to, even you not have a radio, not at home. And that was to go to the library, to go to organization. That was to go for Moshavet, mean like a camp. That was the life. And what I want to tell you? Yes, then Saturday night, we went back from the meeting, from the Shomer HaTzayir. We were children, And there on the main street, the Polish soldiers and the girls, what was the servants, they go for a walk Saturday night, and they start to throw stones on the Jewish people. And I remember when I belonged to Shomer Tzayir, this was maybe 1933 or 34. And we once a year, like Bomer, you know,
Yes.
we went, that was summertime, all the Jewish organizations, all the believers in different, went together in the bush, no, in
The forest.
the forest for a picnic. And maybe, I don't remember if they carry flags or not, maybe they were singing. And when we come the way home, this must be 1933. I don't never come to throw stones on the Jewish group which went home. What I remember, I ran away home. I didn't wait what happened, but I ran away home. But from this time, no more picnics.
You were not
We didn't went more for Lag Boimer for the picnics. And I remember when some Polish workers were working on the street, maybe make the canalization.
Yeah.
And they spoke between them in Polish. And when they were to explain that somebody is a frightened person, then they tell in Polish, "Oh, boi się Żyda."
I see.
You remember? You don't remember this? Boi się Żyda, that means you frightened. You saw a frightened person, even you're frightened for a Jew.
You are so
Like
frightful
fly.
that you are, that
Yeah, boi się
Even you,
Żyda,
yes.
that means that the Jew is so
Helpless.
can help themselves, helpless. Then you like helpless like the Jew.
Yeah.
But now, thank God, we're different. We have
Yeah.
to take example.
What else do you remember?
That's
And your father's business, did it suffer because of that?
Pardon?
Your father's business, you know, like father, did he suffer because of the anti-Semitism?
no,
No.
that's you have the problem with the police.
What do you
Because every police was in charge of the suburb.
Yeah. Suburb.
That, you know, because the business with the schmatters
Yes.
always came in the street before from the big carriages fell something on the floor.
Oh, yes.
Then even the street walk another policeman from another suburb,
Yeah.
that they just come and make a protocol. You know what a protocol?
Yeah, they would make a report, a police
A report. And always you have to pay. You have to pay taxes, you have to pay separate the police, not to give you to the court, because a little rag was on the street.
You picked it up, and somebody picked it up, and they
just
immediately
a fine, everything
Fine.
was a fine.
understand.
It was a hard life. Yeah, some policemen come in the weekend like for pocket money.
And how did it feel to be a Jewish girl in Poland?
We live like in a Jewish city, and a Jewish girl that always, you know, before the war people was poor. When you grow up, you need a nadna, you say a nadna.
Dowry.
A dowry. But the only solution from the Jewish people was when somebody go overseas. You know, when you go overseas, then you can make for you and for your family a better life.
You migrate.
No,
overseas.
when you migrate, the
Yes.
people were very jealous if you can immigrate. But not everybody have relatives. And the main point was that people have not money to immigrate, you know. And some people, when you make a living in Poland, you know the language, you have the family, you don't want to part.
Yes.
And you get used. Like my mother wants very much to emigrate. She was, I tell you, more people ahead of your age. I think when she was living there, she was with emigrate.
She would emigrate.
Yeah, my father, you know, when it was the depression,
Yeah.
my mother had a sister in America. And after we have a lot of bills to pay, then the sister sent maybe a few $100 to help her. And my mother won, my father, the money, go to Argentina, you know.
Take the money and migrate to Argentina.
No, a lot of people then, if you don't remember, went to Argentina. That was in the end of the 30s. Then, you know what my father told?
Yeah.
He take the money, pay the bills.
Yes.
He didn't went to Argentina, you see, because maybe he was a frightened person.
Did he belong to any political organization? Your father?
No, I remember I was a little girl on Saturday. It was a very headmaster from a high school. I don't remember. Goodman, high school, Goodman. Maybe he was a Zionist. And in Bialystok was a big hall, like a big camp, where Jewish people come together Saturday afternoon. And that's Dr. Goodman he was maybe a Zionist, maybe he was talking and dreaming about Israel. Then when I was a little girl, my father took me with him. I don't remember what he was speaking, but I was standing near my father, and a lot of Jewish people come there. But my father read the newspapers.
Jewish newspapers?
Yes, they got a paper on Bialystok Unser Leben, and you got a paper that come from Warsaw, Express. I remember bring everyday papers. I like to read papers. No, Express.
Express.
Express. And
Zeit?
You read papers. Like
Right. Do you remember 1935 when Pilsudski died?
I went in school then.
Yes.
They take us from school, they take us in a picture and they show us a film. I remember this. They write a song, by Pilsudski. Mogile ciemne, śpisz na wieki. I remember this.
Did the conditions of Jews worsen after his death? Do you remember something?
I think people say, because I was still a little girl.
Do you remember?
That people they miss Pilsudski. He was friendly.
Jews missed him.
Because some people, when Pilsudski was a hero, before Poland became independent in 1918, then people tell the story that Pilsudski ran away maybe from the Russians, and a Jewish man hiding him.
Yes.
To save his life. You know, you heard about this.
Yes.
That's why maybe he was friendly to Jews.
Yeah.
I heard the story.
Yes, apparently that's historically true.
In 35 he died. I wasn't
35. Do you remember the name Pristorova?
Pristorova, she by the kosher killing. You know?
Yes, she forbid the
I don't know, but
ritual killing.
we always have kosher meat.
Yeah, but she wanted to introduce the law.
Yes, no, I want to tell you something about anti-semitism. When I went to the Polish school,
yes,
that the Polish school, the state school, seven grades, yes? Maybe in 5 and 6th grade, one day we went to a special school, what was like a technical school, and 4 hours we have sewing and 4 hours cooking. They teach us cooking and sewing and cleaning. That was a good job. We were 16 Jewish girls in this class.
Yeah.
Only one girl eat not kosher. We paid money. We have to pay because when they have the cooking, always two girls in
Yes.
a row
Yeah.
go to buy food, meat, vegetables, to prepare in the school, to bring
Yeah.
in another school for the next day to cook.
Yeah.
And I remember, it was my row, the teacher told us, you have to go to this Bulgaria,
Yes.
you know, the Polish shop, and you have to bring, when you buy the food,
Yeah.
to the cooking, have to be from this Bulgaria written, not from the Jewish.
Shops.
But I am sure that this Bulgaria, what was like a Polish shop, they themselves maybe bought from Jewish
from Jewish.
people, but we have to bring
So they did.
the bags from this Bulgaria.
Yeah. It's like they were boycotting the Jewish
No, I
shops.
tell you, we have to go to this Bulgaria.
Support the
because
Polish.
this Bulgaria have on the bags written.
Yeah.
That's not to buy, she didn't tell,
Not to buy
don't
from
go
Jews.
to Jews, but she tell, go to this Bulgaria, to the,
That's- yeah.
and have to be the bag is written.
That was bought in Bulgaria. Yeah.
That was, and another point, a Jewish, some were very, you know, they don't let Jews to go to the university.
Yeah.
And they don't give Jewish people to work by electricity or
Yes,
on
they-
the
in
railways.
government
They
enterprises.
don't let him
Be public servants.
public servants. They
Yeah.
don't let him work.
Did it?
And if you have time, I can tell you what was my friend and neighbor, but her son. But he was a very gifted. He finished the university
Yeah.
like electrical engineer in Warsaw, but he
Yeah.
was from Bialystok.
Yeah.
You want to hear his story?
Actually, at this stage, we might leave it. Yeah. Like proceed with your personal story.
No, this is very important, but this man. But
Try to keep it short. Good.
he was an orphan. No father. His mother was very struggling, but he was something genius, you see.
Genius,
He was
yes.
a genius, very gifted. And he supported himself, but he helped children, the richer children with lessons.
Yeah.
They can go to
Given
university.
tutorial.
Later he got a place from Bialystok to Warsaw.
Yes.
He was so smart, maybe, and he finished electrical engineer,
Yeah.
and he was brilliant.
Yes.
And his name was Kaliński,
Yes.
a Polish son, but he was Jewish. I know the family.
Yeah.
And
Right.
finish of the,
Yeah.
and when he came with his diploma,
Yeah.
how many Poland have engineers? When he came for a job,
You couldn't
they
get
didn't give him a job because he's Jewish. That he support himself, that the rich Polish students, maybe
Yeah.
from the big farmers,
Yeah.
he pushed them, he helped them to go
Yes.
through the university. That's why he can survive in Warsaw and send the mother a few zlotys to buy for the sister shoes in a coat. You see, a so
understand.
clever man couldn't get a job, electrical engineer. But
Did you hear about Przytyk?
Pshitik was the pogrom, you know.
Yeah.
It was a pogrom. Why? I don't. I know Pshitik was a pogrom. Why it was the pogrom? I don't remember.
What was they killed the Jew, but what was very important is the Polish government said we shouldn't kill Jews, but economically we should eliminate them from the Polish environment. You know, like all the shops, the Jewish shops, should be taken over by Poles.
In my opinion, was like this: the church and the Schlachta, the rich people.
Yes.
The church was anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
and the rich people, the Schlachta, they have a lot of land, they have a good life in Paris,
Yeah.
their sons have a life with luxury, and they don't want to give away the poor peasants in Poland a piece of land,
Yes.
and the peasants have children, have no land, then they don't give them, then they tell the Jews have everything.
Yeah. Jews were always blind.
That's why anti-Semitism.
Did you hear what's happening in Germany about Hitler coming to power?
When we start to hear in the 30s, what happened in Germany, because you read in the newspapers,
Yes.
you hear, and afterwards you send some German Jews, what they was born in Poland,
Yes.
they sent them over the
To Zbońszyn.
over in
The border,
Zbońszyn,
Zbońszyn.
over the
Border.
border. You hear.
You heard about
But
it.
people, when you sit in your place, like everything, you always think, don't happen to me. You see, that's
You
the
never-
life.
yeah.
That's the life. You never know. I remember when I was in school, now 36, one girl came to school and told in Polish to the teacher. I say, proszę pani, you say, proszę pani, wojna. Wojna, she told like, teacher, is a war in Abyssinia. You remember?
Yeah,
36.
I remember, yeah.
36. You know, the teacher answered, do nas daleko. That's
Far from us.
Far from us. The answer was 36 is far from us. That you never know what can happen. And that's the nature from the people. It's far from us. You never know what can happen. Yes.
The war broke out in 1939, September. Where were you then?
When the broke out in 1939, I was in Bialystok. And I belong, Hitler and Stalin made the pact,
Yes.
and they divided Poland.
Yes.
And we were, the Bialystok was like Belarus.
Yes. Was occupied by
They called it
Soviets.
Belarus. And we were, this time, the German came in 39, that was in September, the 1st September, but maybe they come a few days later. And they were in Bialystok maybe a week or 10 days, and the Germans have enough energy to kill and to take away all the machinery, all the fabrics, to grab everything, you know. They grab everything. They don't went empty. And Bialystok was the historical moment I saw this. They stay so long, the Germans, that the German army, with the Russian army, meet together.
In Bialystok.
Bialystok, when it was a contract that the German army have to leave Bialystok, and the Russian have to come in. And then to the last moment, they both together. And after the German left,
Yeah.
and we were under the Russians.
What happened when the Germans came in to Bialystok?
You mean second time?
The first time.
I don't remember if they dropped bombs or not.
But you said that they took away all the
No,
machinery.
like
Did they bomb it?
they fleet. They like now, but people go and take away all the materials from the shops. You know, like they make
Yes.
like nail. They grab everything.
Yeah.
What they can in the 10 days what they were on Bialystok, they grab what they can, the machinery, all the good things, and they didn't went with nothing, the Germans. But they didn't do
Anything
the
against the
killing.
Jews?
No,
Did the Poles do anything?
No, the Poles were very, I think, frightened for the Russians too. Not. Like one Polish man told me, pierw była jedna cholera, teraz przyszła druga cholera.
Which means jedna cholera.
Cholera means like a sickness.
Yeah.
That mean the Germans was one sickness
And
and
then
the
came the
Russians
Russians.
another sickness.
I understand well. Yeah.
And after we have the Russian till the 22nd of June 41.
Yes.
After we don't expect it, Germany fell over the Russians.
Suddenly, Germans
But
attacked.
like my mother said, the rich people always have luck.
Yeah.
Because when the Russians come from Bialystok, the wealthy people, the Russians want, they capitalists, but the Russians, they were communist capitalists, and they want their houses. Because, the Russian comes, they bring their people, then they took the wealthy people, tell them in 1 hour, 2 hours, pack, they have to go to Russia.
Yes, they deported them to
Thanks
Russia.
them, thanks, but the capitalists, they survived in Russia. Not everybody.
Yes,
but
they
a
had
lot
better chance to
survived.
survive.
That was their luck. But was it a tragedy? You have a home, everything, pack in 1 hour, go, leave everything. But a lot of people survived. And
So,
that's...
you knew that the war is going on the West, The German expands, occupies other countries.
They occupied Belarus and Lvov, Ukraine, the part of Poland.
I mean, the Germans were still fighting in the West. They occupied Belgium, Holland,
Yes, in Africa.
France, Africa, that's right.
They fight in Africa.
Did you never expected them to come to Bialystok to attack Soviet Union?
I can hear you.
Did you expect the Germans to attack Soviet Union again, like it happened
And
before?
that's, I don't know. I think this was a very big surprise when Russia.
Could you tell us all about it?
When Germany attacked Russia, and it was a beautiful sunny day.
Yes.
That people don't expect. They think is exercise. The army make exercise.
Yes.
But after the Russians start to run,
Yes.
the military, and a lot of people, the young people, got frightened because they frightened from the Germans, ran away in the direction from Russia, but a lot were killed on the way. And people, the history tell, then the Germans were in Minsk before they went to Bialystok, because nobody give them resistance.
Yes.
They take around.
Yes.
But a lot of people ran away, and we have a lot of refugees from Poland.
That was
in 39.
Yeah.
From Warsaw, in Bialystok was maybe 500,000 people. I don't know. It was after when there was a little time and they went away to Russia. Some ran away by themselves. Some was exported to Russia. Deported, and that was a luck. Some survived. They have not so good in Russia, but they don't have the crematorium there.
Yeah. Can you tell us something about the people who escaped from Poland to Bialystok, from German side, the part of Poland which was occupied by Germany?
No, that's the German, I don't know what was about this Bonshing, they were more on the Polish side.
No,
because
I'm meaning in 1939, when part of the Poland was under Russia and part under Germany, the Jews from the German-occupied Poland were escaping to Bialystok, to Vilno.
To Lublin. I remember it was winter time when they came, winter time 39. And there was a market in Bialystok. What I have to go to, we know that people coming, we have to, I want maybe my girlfriend to see what's going on in the market.
Yes.
Then it was night time. It was a lot of people sitting, and they speak mostly Polish.
Yes.
Then I remember I bought a scarf from one woman and say, look, it was maybe 2 sisters or sister-in-law. I bought from them. It was night time, and one started to me to speak. Oh, you look like my sister, or you look like my family, you know. And I don't know how it happened. I took the 2 women home where we lived. It was night time, winter time, they're on the market. and they were in the kitchen. My mother let them sleep on the floor, or give them somewhere to sleep, and they were a few days. After they went away, and in this time, all the refugees were mostly in the synagogues. You know, they empty.
Yeah, they let them.
And maybe some try to marry girls from Bialystok to stay. And later, this was going on till springtime. And I remember we have the magazines where we keep the schmatters, you know. They're hiding there. They're hiding the refugees. After come the Russian and tell them everybody to go. They send them to Russia. No, they don't let, if you live in Vilna, was the same, I think.
Yes.
They don't let them to stay.
Yeah.
And but some people say it was so hard conditions, go back to Poland, to the Germans.
Some people went back to Poland.
Yes, the family, or they don't want to suffer so much. You know, a refugee.
Yeah. No, it's June 41. Suddenly the Germans attacked.
I think the 22nd of June.
You didn't, yeah. Did you try to escape from the Germans?
No, I was not the type. But I have to escape. Werblud escape.
Your parents?
No.
No.
My brother and my fiancé. My mother, I remember, gave them some money on the road. And to run away from the Germans, because the young people was very frightened from the Germans. They tell they will do this to the young people, they kill them or they castrate them. But after a few weeks, my brother come back. Maybe he couldn't cross, you know, it was too many people.
Yeah.
And maybe the Germans on the road dropped some bomb. And maybe after 4 or 6 weeks, my fiancé come back too. He looked not Jewish, my fiancé. He was not from Bialystok, he was from Stashov. But he was an Akshora in Bialystok, that's I met him. And when he was running away, he maybe speak good Polish, then he keep company to the Polish theater, because the Polish artists, there in Russia. Then he told me, when he was sleeping, he got a dream that Bialystok is burning. He can go home with the train then, with the Polish people. Bialystok was burning. Then he come to Bialystok. He get up from the train and come to me. Maybe when he went to his parents, he was alive. When he was alive, I was not alive.
Right, what happened then?
Then, you mean when the German came to Bialystok in 40?
What?
When the German came to Bialystok 41, it took a few weeks. I was then a young girl that I went out. Yes, the same week when they come, the first day it took a few days, they have to cross, they come to Bialystok, they burned the big synagogue.
She just came in?
No, before they came in, before we see a German, they attack with bombs. You know, it was the biggest synagogue there, nice synagogue with it's not like the Turek synagogue, but with a big, so nice roof, you know. Big, was built maybe 20 years ago, very nice synagogue. And they attacked the bomb, and all the young people that live around the synagogue, they got from house to house, and they put him live in the synagogue. In the Bialystok synagogue, they burned 2,500 Jews.
Sorry, could you describe it in detail? They went from house to house to collect the Jews, put them in the synagogue, and then they burned the synagogue?
They bombed the synagogue. It was, I forget how can somebody write a book in America, but it's beschuldigt, how you say in English? Beschuldigt.
they made guilty, or
Made
they
gu-
accused.
he-
They accused.
He
The
put
proper
a
word.
book. He put a book that the German people, not the army, willingly helped the German army, and he mentioned in this book something in America by Bialystok, by the synagogue, why they do this, and they burned 2,500
How much?
Jews.
2,500.
Jews in the synagogue. And here in the Holocaust Center, you can see it's only the roof, the iron. You saw
Leftover. Yes, there is a photo.
there, and I was living close to the synagogue.
Yes.
I was living close. In this, they call this the Shulef.
Shul in Yiddish, yeah.
One street in the side.
Yeah.
All the suburbs called the Shulef.
Oh, the whole side.
All the suburbs,
Yes.
like Shulef, like Skolna, no?
Yes.
And I remember we were living in a house that was from wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Timber. In opposite was brick. Then was I and my parents. And we went to the brick.
House.
And we sit maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. We heard all the shooting, all the fire. Then I remember I was sitting, I had my good coat, and I have enough time. It was opposite. I can go in to take some clothes with me. But I became so dumb, you see, I couldn't move. Then I was thinking, when I leave, I will leave. I didn't want to take anything.
Okay.
I like very much photos, always collect photos. Even the album I didn't take. And after we sit a few hours, and we see his bed, then we run away. We leave the house, and we run away in a part, far away from the fire. You know, when we ran away, maybe it was dark, and the people were so frightened. When the people from this part of the city ran, some people don't want to let you in, because they were thinking when you come in, there will be too much Jews in the same place. But my mother had some relatives or friends, they let her in, and we overnight slept on the outside, like on the yard. There was a lot of people there. And in the morning, there was no house, there was nowhere to go, you know. Everything, not only the synagogue was burned, all the area was burned.
Right.
All the area where the Jewish people lived. You can stand from one end of the city to the other, you see the forest, you know.
The fires.
The forest.
As a forest,
Yeah, no
everything
houses.
was obliterated.
Everything was burned down. And after we went to relatives, and we stayed there a little while, and then the first of August was the ghetto.
Sir, when you said who were us, it was you, mother, father.
My brother was taken away. The Shabbos secretary was.
Please tell us now exactly what was the Subbotniks, as you said.
No.
Or Shabbos day.
No, the fire, no. When they took
When did it
my
was it?
brother, that was just before the ghetto, in July.
So, in July, before the ghetto.
Before
How
the
did it
ghetto.
happen?
Better?
What happened? How did they take him or why?
I tell you, the 4,000 young men, the Shabbos ticket.
Yeah, you didn't tell us on the type. You told me privately, but now I want to hear it on the type.
What you
Could you repeat again the incident when your brother was arrested?
This was why I tell you, this was before the ghetto, because in that place where we went to stay,
Yes.
this was my mother's girlfriend, you know, she let us in, you know, in the ghetto, to give us a part in their room with a wardrobe, you separate. And that was like in July, in July 41, before the ghetto. And the it was, I don't remember what day, must be Saturday, but he called it Saturday.
Yeah.
And they came the Germans, and they went from door to door. And they took the young men. And if they see, they took my father too, but my father was in the 50s. They said they send them back because they have enough young men.
Yes.
And after they took them, they take them to work.
You told them to take them to
They
work.
take them to work, and they tell to the just have to be a Judenrat, you know, like a Jewish parliament, and they tell to the Judenrat, give us so much gold and silver and another expensive thing, we'll their contribution.
Yeah.
Then these people, that you pay for them.
And you will free them.
Free them. And the young people, they took in a place first that was a football place. And my mother will be burned, they have nothing. I think she take off her wedding ring and she give her. Oh, mother, give everything what
To
she
save
can.
their child.
And they think that they will be free. And it's hard to take some food in the football field or the standing.
Bring them. Yeah.
And after the Judenrat maybe tell, oh, you get what you want, let them free. Then what I heard, then the German, they told, you give the contribution not to take anymore.
They won't take any more.
More. That is like you pay to save
In
them
the
and not to
future.
take anymore.
Yeah.
The 4,000, that's not enough. After nobody heard from them, they disappear. But the Polish neighbors, they told that far away from the city was a big field, maybe it was the exercise for the army. They shot them.
They
And
simply
they
shot
buried
them and buried them.
Buried them, I don't know what was the end of it, if they take him out or not, but the Polish neighbors give the regards. That's happened. And that's why it was the redactor, you know, the redactor from the Jewish, very intelligent man, Pesach Kaplan. He died in Ghetto. He wrote the song.
About it.
He wrote the story like a young woman, because they take away her husband, she longing after him, very easy. And that is the song from the Shabbos. But before the Shabbos, they took the Germans Donnerstücke. They called Donnerstücke.
Who were the
The
Donnerstücke?
Donnerstücke was all the intelligentsia, all the professionals.
Yeah.
All the professionals.
Yeah.
All the professionals, the engineers, the doctors,
Yes.
and they tell,
Yes.
it was not in the 1,000, but was enough, they take them for work.
Right.
And what I tell you, the story about the electrical engineer, Kalinski, couldn't get a job. When he was staying in Warsaw, then he married, he came with his wife to the parents, to Bialystok, because he was born in Bialystok.
Yes.
He was from the Donnerstücke. They took the engineer, what I tell you
Yes.
this story,
They took him out.
and nobody heard from them.
Yes.
They disappear. People say they said them working, well, they disappear. And his wife, the engineer, she was a piano teacher. He married not a rich girl from Russia. I met her in the Ghetto, the engineer's wife, and she told me, I think she lost her mind. She told me it's my fault because I told him to go from Warsaw to Bialystok. She can't forgive herself.
So she asked him to come back.
Because she was thinking when she in Warsaw, she was safe. And they not,
But no.
that was the Donnerstücke. But the intelligentsia. You know, the young, you can see how the German were. They took the intelligentsia, they took the young men, all what can something do against them. You know.
There won't be any resistance.
Yes,
Yeah. That was before the ghetto.
yes.
Could you tell us how did it happen that you have to go to the ghetto?
The ghetto was established in the 1st of August.
Yes.
And they took a part from the city.
Yes.
And they make a fence.
Yes.
And they make 2 entrances.
Yes.
Like near every entrance was a shop.
Yes.
And they give 3 meters of a person to live.
Right.
It may be 8 families in one house. And you know how people get the leftover furniture you can take. And you have to wear the stars.
When did
Yellow stars.
Before the ghetto?
No, when the ghetto started.
Then you had to wear the yellow stars.
No, not a band. A star
on
here,
the chest,
a star on the back.
Yeah.
And if you went out of the ghetto and you take off your star, because some look like no Jewish, that you can shot.
Could you go out? Was there a gate or the ghetto was open? Was there a fence around the ghetto or a wall?
That was very lucky when you were in ghetto.
Yes.
To get a job by the Germans.
But could you answer the question? Was there a gate or a wall around the ghetto?
It was a wall and it was a gate, 2 gates, what you got in.
Got in.
It was a wall.
Yes.
And it was some sabbat, you know.
Could I ask you a few questions? How did you know that you have to go to the ghetto?
Maybe it was an order.
It was an order.
Yeah, because
You saw some placards on the wall or announcements?
Nobody go on his free will. It was the Judenrat. Judenrat was like the parliament.
Yeah, the
Mr.
Judenrat
Barash
told...
was an engineer, he was in charge.
Right.
And it just was like a parliament, like ministers, one have to do with the food, one with the work, one with the houses.
So this Judenrat told you to go to
from this and this day is the ghetto.
What could you take with you when you went to ghetto?
I don't have much to take because we went out on with the clothes. What you can take, maybe when the people that live in this part of the city, what was the ghetto, they don't have to take anything. But in other people, what you can take furniture, maybe you take your clothes.
Mm-hmm. How much time did you have from the announcement you have to go to the ghetto to the time?
Maybe I don't sit much in ghetto. I tell you what, because when before the ghetto came the German army to stay in Bialystok, different soldiers, to occupy. You went out, but you start to clean by then.
Before the ghetto?
Before the ghetto, you clean, they give you a piece of bread.
So before the ghetto,
I never
Jews
sit in
had
the
to
ghetto.
work. Sorry.
I got a shine, you know what a shine?
Yeah, I know. So before the ghetto was established, Jews had to work for Germans.
Yes.
Men and women.
Yes, but you have to build, you have to clean, you have to sew for them.
Did you have to assemble yourself on a yard where the Germans would come and select?
No, that's, in my case, it was a German 3 companies. Maybe they come from another part from Poland. They were like lodzikes. You know, lodzikes mean
airmen.
Airmen. And it was in Bialystok was like a place where the airplane comes. They call it
airfield.
It's airfield. They build I never saw this. They build the airfield, but after that they come in the houses that before belonged to all the Jews in the main streets. The soldiers sleep in this.
To cover the houses?
No, they take away the houses and that's where they hotels, they live there.
Yes, they will live there.
The best houses in the main streets. And like me, other girls were very lucky that the union tell we need 200 girls, we need 200 men, this.
To supply.
To supply, the people are supplied, we don't get paid. But the luck was we get out and we got a piece of bread.
So you had to walk every day to work?
It's not far, we walk.
Not far, right.
But after after we start the ghetto,
Yes.
when you want to get out from work, you need a shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A shine is a
certificate.
permission.
A permission or
Because when
certificate.
you went out of the ghetto, you have to show the shine,
Yeah.
the permission. And I always was lucky, Germans.
Yeah.
Give me a shine. I can be picked
Like-
up from a few hundred girls. Always picked me up. Maybe I look so healthy or strong. They take me always. I was not short for a job.
It was like an employment certificate.
That
It's a
is,
shine.
you couldn't get out from ghetto.
Ghetto without an employment.
I think I once remember I changed job, but I have 2 shines because I didn't finish the date from this one. Maybe it was not age. That I remember my mother, she was so smart. She took with a shine, and she went out, she brought milk.
So you used your shine to leave the ghetto and back.
Yes, because I got one and
Right.
another one was not finished.
How did you leave the ghetto, in a column or single?
No, when I have the shine,
Yes.
I lived
Ghetto. Through the guide.
single.
Single.
Yeah, but when the Germans need a few hundred to clean up the houses when they start to settle them, then they take 100 in a column. But when the ghetto started, we have to wear 2 stars. On the
One on the
one
front
on the
and
front,
one
one
on
on
the
the
back.
back. Then I want to tell you, I was working after I progressed to the Schneiderstube. I was like a good Germans that helped me. They give me to work where the German repair the clothes for the army.
Uniforms.
And I cannot be so that I help them, I learn something from them. Then I went out from the ghetto to work. And I have, with my stars, I have to go in number 18. My workplace is Ulica Maršalka Piłsudskiego. I have to went into the gate number 18. Then I went on the footpath number 16. I went on the 16. And Jews were not allowed to go on the footpath, you know, in the gutter. You know about
Jews
this?
were only allowed to walk on
On
the
the
street, on
footpath.
the road,
On the road, no.
not on the footpath.
On the footpath.
I know.
You have
on
to walk in the gutter.
the guy, right?
Maybe you
I know.
I have to walk in the gutter. Then I was close 18. I went to 16. A German came against me, walking, a German, a strange one. He was maybe from the army, not from the party. Then he came over to me. You shouldn't walk here.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Go on the gutter.
Yeah.
Then I told him, I work here, next door. Then he told me, no, go on the gutter, and after you will go here.
Across it.
See how we're looking? Worse than dogs. Yeah, I was lucky, it didn't hit
Beat
me.
you and
You can hit.
do you remember any other regulations? Jews were not allowed to walk on the pavement. What else do you remember? What Jews had to do or were not allowed to do?
Was not allowed. I remember I was not a business girl, you know. Some girls not have money, but some girls would work with me to go in the Polish quarters, and they took a piece of soap or something, a piece of cloth, and they want to get some food for this. And I always was the company, I never made business. They went in, I stay outside. And I remember once we went, and she was, maybe the husband was from the Shabbosdiki, and she was right. And she left by herself 2 children, 2 small children by himself. Maybe one was a baby, and one was 6, 7 years. She can remember all day, but she was working. And she wants some food. That come out a Polish man from the street. He told, don't come in the North Street. Don't. You can't walk in. Maybe she had address where she went. Because the Germans told us, if we find a Jew in our street, all the street will be deported. then we went home. I didn't make business with nothing. She couldn't get anything, but the Polish store like this.
Were the Poles generally anti-Semitic or not?
Were the Poles?
Yeah, were they?
I didn't make with them business, because I never was a business girl. And people tell different stories. It was, some Polish people, not many, saved Jews. I meet here a doctor, a specialist, a health specialist, a Jewish. He told me the Jewish people don't like the Polish people. We tell when he was a baby, I didn't ask him how old he was. When the Polish people didn't save me, I was not here to die. The TF example, it was, the story, it was not many Polish people what saved Jews. In some cases, when some Jewish woman went in Bialystok and she was hiding, and she went outside the ghetto, and a Pole recognized him. He went to the Gestapo. He told she's a Jew. You send them to the camp. It's
very individual.
There was when we have to tell when a Polish person saves a Jewish life, he risks his own life. But there was exceptions.
There were exceptions.
Exceptions.
Were you allowed to bring food into the ghetto?
No. When the guard was standing.
A German guard.
And you have to go inside.
Through the gate.
From the Werk.
Yeah.
Then depends how the guard.
Yeah.
That if it was a bad guard,
yes.
then you can have a carrot, or you buy something or what, you change for clothes. Some people have connection with people, then he took everything away. And special when they have the shop, what I tell you, maybe it was some not so nice German man, he sees some for fun or what, they can take a girl, but went after that, took her on the shop, and tell her to undress. Maybe she has something between your leg or under her arms. Say once happened to me, because I was working by the Germans, and they take me inside, but they don't tell me to undress. Me not. They touch
you.
Because I was working by the Germans, and the Germans have a canteen. They drink beer.
Yes.
Then I had a jug, but was broken. And I went to the canteen and I buy beer.
Can you buy beer?
They let me, the German, that was the army.
Oh, yeah.
And I put a bit of cloth and I brought to the ghetto. Once the German with a stick, he look what is in the beer. Maybe sometime can be
hide something.
And later my mother, in the ghetto there are some shops, but some people, speculant, make some food, you always manage.
Black market.
My mother took the beer, what was in the jug, put in a bottle, and sell this to the shops in ghetto. And she bought some bread for this. It's going on, some helping, it's another. No, everything was luck. All the survivor, because I was working with the Germans in the Schneiderstube. I don't know, maybe they were communists or they were good work people, what ideas. They always tell me, Fräulein Esther, don't go home, just will be a piece of bread for you. And they tell me to take things from them. I didn't ask them to give me. Wool, one German give me wool, what every soldier get a stripe of wool for his socks to repair. I didn't want to take it. He told, Frau Esther, nehmen Sie, verstecken Sie, you know. And I was so stupid. I took it. I hide this.
Yes.
I have the coat. I have a double lining.
Yes.
And I went with this in the ghetto. Can you imagine when the German finally go in my place? I was in trouble, he was in trouble, but he forced me to take this. What do you think? And when he gave me a sheet. Sheets like a present, sheets. Then, verstecken Sie. What I can do, I put this, I sew on and my coat, and after a tailor made me a coat from this.
Yeah.
But that was, I was so young, I didn't understand. I was
very
not a
dangerous.
businesswoman, but that was so a risk, I tell you. I tell you. I was so stupid. Once he gave me so much wool, then I had a cardigan somebody do for me, socks, and on the head, winter, and I was so stupid. Once I come to the Germans to wear, and an officer coming, and he look on my head. You know, if you heard in Poland from the wool, they had, he looks also, he
Suspicious.
He noticed something, the wool. But don't tell me, don't tell me nothing. But I was lucky. I see his looks. That is again luck.
Yes.
That's all in ghetto where you go, what you do is luck.
Your father and mother was working?
Which one?
Father was working?
In Bialystok, like in Linzmannschaft, it was a lot of factories.
Yes.
They make clothes for the Germans, for the army, they make shoes, they make, what you want they make. They make volatiles, you know, for the winter. What you want they do, leather goods, everything. And you was lucky, you got a job, you got a shrine, they put you on the list, you was lucky. But in Ghetto, when we were in Ghetto, that they took maybe first time, the beginning of the ghetto, a few thousand Jews, they sent them to Pruzhana for work. Maybe it was
Pruzhana, that was a little town, yes?
Yeah, a little town they sent from Bialystok ghetto to work. I was working till maybe 42 outside the ghetto. But in 42, I went for a job in the ghetto.
Sorry.
It was a factory, they called this Stefan, like it was Schindler's List. It was a Stefan. This factory was very big factory. They make uniform for the German army and repair. I got a job there. Thanks to this, because I was working with the Germans, I learned how to put a patch in the, you know, a square
Socks.
patch in
The uniforms.
in the uniforms. In a going went back then, and I couldn't put the patch. Now I forget how to do this. I get the job.
Yeah.
And then this time I was working in the ghetto, inside the ghetto. But I got Prussia needs a very long time. And if you read the book from Arnold Zeibel, but Jules and Ashes, he writes about Prussia, he tells the story about his family. Maybe his family was sending him. I was then working outside the ghetto. They don't take the people. They don't take to send. You know, sometimes.
Yes, they don't deport people.
Sometimes they deport when you work, not in the ghetto. Sometimes they deport when you work in the ghetto. In February 1943, it was the first action in ghetto.
So,
The first action.
Could I ask you something? After the Donnerstike and Shabbosdike, there was no actions?
No, that was before the ghetto.
Yeah, and after the ghetto, the first action in the ghetto was all right?
No, the first action was in February 1943. 1943, February was the first action. And they took then about 10,000 Jews. 10,000. And that was mostly the people, they took the people what what was working out of the ghetto. They didn't touch the people in the ghetto.
I see.
That the people what were in the ghetto working, they were lucky. I was working in the ghetto. I went to the factory and I sit all the time in the factory till the action went on for 1 week.
The whole
They
week
took
they were
10,000 Jews. And they said, took them to Auschwitz, to Maidan. And that was winter time.
Can you describe how it happened?
People were hiding, you know.
They
went in the hiding places to sing, to take the...
And who was taking it? Which police? German police, Gestapo?
The Germans with the Jewish police.
Jewish police assisted them.
People were hiding in cellars, in the...
Cellars, yeah.
And they were hiding on attics,
yes.
And they were hiding, I know, everybody under the doors, and they were hiding...
Wherever they could.
Where they could, under the wall, but it took 10,000.
10,000 are very
10,000. And all our family
big.
was saved, because I was working in ghetto, my father was working in ghetto, my mother was hiding in a attic where we lived was a attic. They come after we took off in the night time, we can walk in the ghetto. They were frightened, the Germans. You know what's the story what was with Mohammed? You know the story from Bialystok with Mohammed?
No, please tell us.
And that was a story that they come to take, he was a teacher. And he was sitting, he was not hiding, he was sitting by a table and the Germans come out to take him. He prepared for this, then he took some Vertrauel, the stark medicine,
yeah.
He threw this on the German. And the German become blind. Then he start to shoot. Then he shoot another German.
Yes.
You heard the story?
No,
in
the
mountains, ran away hiding. And after, they find all that place was a hiding place. A keller, I say in English, a keller.
Cellar.
A keller, they're hiding. And maybe they took away all the Jews and they tell, if Mohammed, you will not give him. If you not come, then they finish all the ghetto off.
If you won't hand him in to the German.
He will not come.
Come
and
out.
he come on his own will. He come to the Germans and they hang him in the ghetto. And maybe you can imagine how many killings it was. But Mohammed had a speech beforehand in the Etel. You will lose the war
to the
Germans, and this street, Kopiecka, that was the main street in the ghetto. That was in Kopiecka Street, where it was in the. He told that this street will be on my name. Will call Ulica Malmeda. And they hang him, and the Jewish people have to look. I didn't want to look. And the street is on his name.
It's called his name.
They call Ulica Malmeda. And this time they took away 10,000 Jews. After they took away, yes, my fiancé was hiding. He was working outside the ghetto. He don't have a shine. But this place, but I was hiding, I got somebody what was in charge. They let him be on the, to hide this time on the attic in the factory. He went out too early, maybe want to eat or what, and the German took him. But he was very smart, he ran away. He came back to the ghetto. That we were safe on the first section. But I saw what was in the first section. Because I went to take my mother from the attic. I know where she went to have somebody to, like a pogrom. All the walls, all the furniture, all the doors were open, turned over, and they didn't find the first time. Then I went the night time. Yes, this time what Malmö did to the Germans, they stopped to go at night to look for Jews. They stopped to go.
Yes.
They only do the action
During the day.
during the day. That was going on all week. And I went to where my mother was hiding, and I speak to the it was a big building, she was on the attic. Mama, I was screaming, come down and take you to the factory.
Yes.
Then nobody answered. Then I was sure they take you away. After next day in the factory, come a woman what was in the office, and she told me, don't tell anybody, a policeman, come a Jewish policeman, tell over your mother or my mother, they were neighbors, is upstairs.
Exactly.
Then we come, we take off. And then I tell my mother, what happened? Oh, you didn't recognize my voice? I was so screaming. And nobody answered. I was sure she's not alive. You know what she told me? The people don't let you.
Go.
The people don't let you to tell that somebody's there.
Because they were afraid maybe.
No, they don't. It was maybe 40, 50 people. They don't let you to tell, come take me, I go with you. They don't let you.
Yeah, I understand.
But my mother told me it was a big girl there, and she got maybe distressed or sick. She start to scream, I want to kill the Germans, I want to go. They want to choke you, the girl. That was, after we take you off, we take you off and we take you to the factory. After the ghetto was smaller, they took away a few less Jews, took away a few houses, and a few streets, and we have to go to live in another place. And in Ghetto, when we have to come a commission, to the Judenrat, the bosses, then the Jewish police went on the streets and tell the Germans have to come in. Don't be on the street. The Germans not have to see Jews on the ghetto. That was empty ghetto. The Jewish police come to tell, hide. Don't walk on the street.
To warn you.
And otherwise, it was not easy for the Judenrat too, And after the life go on, who is alive is alive. Yes, and the family where we stay, they took away the daughter with the child. The father survived, he was a chemist, a good job by the German. And they were relatives, they let us in. And she told me like this, when they took him in the road, she talked to the Germans, they were relative, listen, come in my place, I'll give you all the jewelry what I got, save me with my child. And the husband was away, take away before. Then they go in a place, took away all the jewelry and took away too. Then it was a grandmother, can you imagine, a grandmother and the mother, they were so crying, why the young took away me, not me. You know what, then the father was working a camp by the Germans. Then one of the Germans maybe was close to him, he told him about his loss. Then he told him, you don't have to be so upset, in 6 months all the ghetto will be liquidated. The German told to him.
Already told him, yeah.
And I told you the story, I don't know.
No. We have to finish now because we're running out of time. Thank you.
Yes, Minister.
You were telling us that.
Yes, I wanted to tell you, the people in the ghetto
Yes.
don't expect that they think will happen to them because Bialystok was so industrial, it do so many goods for the German will not can go on without the Jews in the ghetto. Who will work for them? Then we were young people, and we come together, you know, like, and I told for them what the German told to my family friend. They give him hope that in 6 months all the ghetto will be liquidated. Then they start to scream on me. They start like I was telling him, I think was it impossible. That's mean, that's, the people don't believe. You shouldn't talk like this.
Yeah. You realize that it...
Yeah, the people think that the Germans couldn't finish the war without the Jews, because Bialystok and Lodz, they do very much work.
Important work for Germans.
After we finished the first action, my mother was on the attic, and we was have nothing, we was lost everything in the fire. Then it was winter, I have to go up and take the pillow and your blanket, what she brought. Everybody, it was winter, February, everybody bring some to cover, not to freeze.
What do you mean after the fire?
I mean, we lost, when Bialystok was the fire.
Initially.
We have no clothes, we have nothing. Then when we have a pillow or we have the blanket, I went on a ladder to take off the clothes.
Yeah, I understand.
From what she lives, not the clothes, the bedding.
The bedding, yes.
I had a shock of my life.
Yes.
It was a big building in a big art. I still remember. And the sun was shining. It was a sunny day. And all the pillows and all the pernes and all the was lying like soldiers. And I was thinking, my God, where are all the people?
Yeah.
And that's looked for me like I am on a cemetery. You see?
You went back to the Jewish part that were previously.
No, I went then to take away my mother's pillow. She was hiding.
Oh, where she left upstairs.
She left upstairs. I didn't take anybody's. My mother told me where she left.
Mm-hmm.
I take what belonged to us.
Just to you, yeah.
And
this
I
was
to take the pillow. And it was so big, hectic, and so much bedding, and not a live person.
Not a person.
Yes, they come and they find the attic. The Germans find.
The attic.
They
Oh,
took away all the people.
Like your mother wasn't there?
No, my mother, I told you, take you off one
Just
night before.
Yes.
But next day, even she told me that they sit upstairs and come the police. And one from the Jewish policemen, they're helping, tell maybe you something upstairs. Then one told them in Polish, shut up. But the next day, they discovered. They discovered and took away all the people. And my mother's love would take you over.
Could you tell us something about Judenrat and the Jewish police in Ghetto?
The Jewish police, they keep order. People say different. I never have some business with police because I know it was a business girl. Some were very clever. But when you need where to live, when you have some neighbors fighting, or you need a job, they keep the order in Ghetto. Like I told you, they go, Jewish people, go away from the street. A German commission is here, they don't have to. They keep order on the Ghetto, they get paid. People have different opinions. Some say some were very honest, some were good, some no good. What you can do, then maybe they were police, they got some more to eat. They keep the order. But they have to do what the Germans give them orders, and they have to listen.
Did you have any cultural life in the Ghetto?
It was the young people come together when free, maybe some have nice voices, sing.
In public?
No, in the homes.
Only in the home.
The public organizations, it was underground in the ghetto.
Can you tell us something
It was
about
underground.
that? Yes.
You know, in the second one was the liquidation from Ghetto. They make some resistance in Bialystok Ghetto.
How, do you know something? How was it organized? Or?
But it was resistance.
Yes.
It was my friend. He was in the resistance. He survived.
Yes.
He was in the partisan. Some went to the. It was organization in Ghetto because from different organizations they come together. They make plans. They go to the partisana. They help the partisana with shoes. They help them with clothing. And, but I didn't belong. I didn't belong to. Some girls belonged to. I didn't belong. And when it was the second, the liquidation from Ghetto, like 6 months later, the German was right. It was the liquidation, the 16th of August 1943, and they put some placards, you know,
Placards,
on
yeah.
the walls. It was a nice Sunday, end of summer, you know. And 8 o'clock, all the Jews from Ghetto have to come in this place, and we'll go for work. If we find somebody, we will kill. Then people go, some hide, and some went on their own will. And after I went to meet my fiancé, and we started to hear shooting in the ghetto. They put some resistance, maybe to kill a few Germans.
Where were you then?
That I went, it was, as they started shooting, and people start to hide.
Yeah.
There was a factory from leather in Jolowiecka, where the ghetto is. And the man what was in charge of the factory, it was my neighbor. And I was with my fiancé, then he let me in. He let me in with my fiancé. Then we sit all day in the factories on the floor like a lot of people. And we were all thinking we saved. And come in night time, and come the Germans, Rolf, have to go down to the place near where they collect the people to go in the cattle trains.
On the railway station?
No, cattle trains.
Cattle trains on the railways.
On the railways, first you go on a big meadow, you know, on a
You
field.
went on a big field.
All night after.
They took you to the railways.
To the cattle trains. And I was lucky that I am alive because I was with my parents. And my fiancé came over. He was a very good tradesman with the leather goods. And he told that I come with me when we go in the camp, I can protect you. Then my mother, I tell you, she was ahead of her time. She told me, go with him. Young people can have a chance to survive in a camp. And I went with my fiancé, I separated with my parents. I'm sure when I was going with my parents, I wouldn't talk now to you. I wouldn't talk now to you.
So this happened on the square where, before they took you to the trains.
This happened when they have to leave the home.
When you had to go to this big
when they
square.
have to go to this street, to this area, all the Jewish people with their parcels you go for work, we send you for work. A special place.
Yeah.
Then before they left home, it's a given time. Before they left home, that's it.
Could you take something with you?
We take some
clothes,
maybe some food, if you
food,
or not necessary. How much you can carry on your back. If you go a long time, you're tired, you leave everything. I remember I remember my father, the last, what I remember, in the ghetto we eat peas. You got peas, potatoes, that was all the food. That's maybe we had some peace at home.
So you took
And it was so like a jewel. Then before my father, we went out, he pushed the bag with the peas very far under the bed. It was thinking maybe he'd come back, he will eat up the food. He couldn't take it.
It was dried peas.
Dry peas he put, I remember I put under the wood. And later, when we come to Majdanek, a neighbor I meet, she told me, I meet your mother on the, because I separate with the parents in at home, but I didn't, it was thousands of people, I didn't see anymore my parents, because all sitting on one big field.
The whole night?
All night. I didn't see anymore, but my neighbor, one of the neighbors I meet in Majdanek, she told me, I sit next to your mother. You know what your mother told? That you and your fiancé, she was thinking, went to the resistance. We went.
That you escaped the resistance.
Because my mother maybe understand, you have nothing to lose, you have to fight. Then she was thinking, I went to fight. Maybe my fiancé was we going to fight, but I tell not to risk.
They put you in the wagons in the morning.
I know, we sitting, I remember we were standing, we went out to go in the factory. Then the Jewish people was didn't expect. And one Jewish man, maybe it was a good attendant, a good professional, was working for the German. Then I saw, he went to the German, maybe knowing, put him the paper. He put him a piece of paper. Maybe paper was written, is a very important work. He bring a lot of good things. He showed the German. They were so frightened. He pushed him away. The German pushed away the Jewish man with a good opinion, whatever the paper. Everybody was stupid. They think he will show for the German a piece of paper is important professional work that he will be safe. He make like this, go away. Frightening. But all the day when the shooting, nighttime I told you, it helped to go out, there we sit, and we come and we went on the big field, we sit on the ground, and in the morning, they just maybe close to the railways, come the trains, and they start to take some people in the cattle trains. And that's the Germans, you talk, you go, they start to hit you over the head. I remember I went with my fiancé, I tell them, it's all right, they hit me, not you, because when they hit you, they give stronger. They hit me. And my fiancé noticed, he was working the leather goods, that a lot of his friends they were in the same place too. He said, I see my friends, they go first in the trains. Then he said, I want to be together with them. And we ran after them, and we went on the train, and the cattle trains, and it was a lot of, not was place to sit, you have to stand.
Very crowded.
And I don't remember it was children, but it was men and women. And they take cattle trains with a little window. Yes. We start to look out, and after in a stop come the Polish rivalmen. You couldn't go to the window, and people start to give for the Polish rivalmen maybe some jewelry or what. They bring a bit of water, and they told, you passed Treblinka. You already passed Treblinka. That maybe the parents, the older people, yes. They just took, or they put them like my parents, or they went to Treblinka, or they went to Auschwitz. They didn't come in the camp.
So did they divide some? Did they take away some wagons from the train?
That we didn't see, but I think when they start to sort, they just sort. Maybe the older people just in the wagons. They can. I didn't see old people coming.
In your wagons.
and it was very sticky, and some people have some tools, and they start to open the doors from the trains, maybe say they're plumbers or what, and then people start to jump.
From the train, escape.
Not happen to you? That the young people start to jump, open. Then my fiancé, he was a good sportsman. I give him, I remember because I have some food, I give him a towel, and I tell him, go save yourself, I can't jump. And he's standing, he pushed other people, he come back, he tell, I can't leave you. He didn't jump. And after people start to scream, the Germans start to shoot. And when they start to shoot, people got frightened. Then they close the doors. But people jump, open the doors and jump. One man in the train maybe was standing near me. I have to tell this, he was very disappointed with the Jewish religion.
Okay.
Tell that?
Yes.
I don't know, he was not middle-aged, he was not old. He was standing in the train and he took a banknote. I don't know, it was German money or it was dollars. And he took the banknote, tear in pieces and he told, if God can see what's going on with the Jewish people, and do nothing, that like the banknote have not any wealth, the same the religion have no wealth. He was so disappointed, it was disappointed in religion. Maybe a lot of people tell like this. I remember, so he tell me. All right.
Thanks. We'll stop here. Good. Or you want to continue?
I can continue.
Where did the train go to Majdanek or?
Maybe you can stop. I don't know.
Oh, we'll stop now. Good, thank you.
From here started the journey to the camps.